Hello everyone, and I suppose we should do a video on the delay of Legacy of the Sith. Whew. I nearly said Mysteries of the Sith there. I nearly said that there. Yeah, so Legacy of the Sith. Latency of the Sith, we'll call it now. As it has been delayed, the expansion to February 15th, 2022. It was due to launch December 14th, which is probably when this video will come out, I guess. So, yeah, interesting that they delayed it. It must have been really bad that they delayed it because this month is SWTOR's 10th anniversary. I know, I can't believe it's made it 10 years. You wouldn't have bet on that back in 2012, certainly, that it would still be here in 10 years' time. 2012 was the absolute the depths that SWTOR plumbed. Again, it launched in December of 2011 to reasonable success. SWTOR had sold over 2.5 million copies within the first few months. And that was decent. That's not too bad for any MMO. Of course, it couldn't sustain its player base and then went free to play just under a year later in November of 2012. Just lack of content, the general lack of polish in the game. Still to this day, there's a general lack of polish in the game. A lot of people have, this great idea that SWTOR is this fantastic story-driven game. And I saw the video that they put out, that BioWare put out about the sort of overarching story for SWTOR over 10 years. And I'll be honest with you, I don't like SWTOR's story. It's overarching story that's been going on over 10 years. I've never really liked it. I can't say I've ever liked the overall story. The class stories, don't get me wrong, I've liked a few of them. The Imperial Agent story is the best of them all. It's basically James Bond in the Star Wars universe. It's a fantastic storyline. The Bounty Hunter story, it's okay. The first chapter is decent, but then it kind of peters out. Same for the Smuggler story. Takes you too bloody long to find Skavik. Jesus. Took you to chapter 3 to get to Skavik. Skavik, that was his name, yeah. I like the way the female voice actress just got pissed off whenever she said Skavik. But yeah, the Smuggler story was okay. Jedi Knight was okay. The Trooper story is the worst. Jeez, you see the amount of times you had to go and see General bloody Garza. That got really annoying. The Consular story put me to sleep, I'll be honest with you. I hated it. The Inquisitor story was okay. That was alright. Not too bad. It's kind of like if you wanted to be Palpatine, if Palpatine was your favorite Star Wars character, you'll like the Inquisitor story. Same with, the Sith Warrior Jedi Knight story. It's quite interesting. If you like the sort of hero's journey type story, that they kind of start with Anakin Skywalker and continue with Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars series. That's the Warrior and Jedi Knight story kind of follow that line. If you're a Han Solo fan, you're going to play the Smuggler story. And again, if you're a James Bond fan or a fan of good writing in general, then you're going to play the Imperial Agent story. The Consular story was meant to be you're meant to be like a diplomat, like Princess Leia type thing, but it's just boring, the Consular story. But yeah, I've never liked the overarching story that kind of precedes it. It's kind of just your typical Star Wars fare. And then it just goes off the rails. Hutt Cartel just wasn't very interesting. Hutt Cartel was just a continuation of the Belsavis story, the story that starts in the Imperial version of Belsavis, where you free the Dreadmasters. And that kind of persists through the end game of the vanilla version and goes off into Hutt Cartel, where you get to fight one of the Dreadmasters. Initially, you get to fight Styrak in Scum and Villainy, and then, of course, you go on to confront all the Dreadmasters in the Dread Palace. It was Dread Fortress. You get to face off. Who's he face off again in Dread Fortress? The tentacly lady with the gold tentacles. His name I can't remember. Don't remember her name. What was her name again? I don't remember. But anyway, you face them all at the end. And that was kind of the end of that kind of arc, and that was okay. You had the Dreadmasters arc. Then you had Shadow of Revan, which was pretty terrible. If I'm honest, it just was over too quickly. We beat Revan far too quickly. from my point of view. I thought that should have took us a few years at least and a few raid tiers to beat Revan. You know, because Revan was the biggest character of that era, and they just kind of ruined Revan for me after that. He was so easy to beat, you could beat him AFK in a solo mode, and that's not how you treat Revan, really. Then there was the whole, what was it, the arc with Valkorion, the Eternal Throne, Eternal Empire, whatever the hell that was. That was not great as well. It just became a corridor RPG where you just walk down a corridor and face some enemies, and it was really linear and just really boring. I think the worst thing about SWTOR's story is you can't really impact it in any meaningful way. It's not something like Mass Effect, you know, where you had choices and your choices mattered in the end. You know, you could get companions killed if you made the wrong choice. You know, your choice, you could be being dark side or being light side. The only real companion I felt that really was influenced by you was Jace. That was it. You could get dark side Jace or light side Jace. That was it. It was a real missed opportunity there. And being restricted by being an MMO. MMOs are not the best for story, to be honest. I've been playing Final Fantasy 14, and there's just way too much dialogue in that game. Like, I just tune out. I'm watching Netflix while playing that, and it's the same with SWTOR, although that's mostly waiting in the queue. I'm just tuned out by it. I don't care. I'm not the chosen one. I'm not the alliance commander. Because you walk out of the instance and everybody else is the alliance commander. I just don't think that's a great method of storytelling. I like the way the Secret World told it. You're nothing special. You're not the chosen one. You're just a foot soldier, and that's fine. I accept that. It's more believable. They talk about separating story from gameplay. Why? Why would you do that? The story and the gameplay should be interlinked. That's what links you to the world. That's what great games do. Games like Skyrim, for example. Skyrim's story is not great. I've never finished Skyrim's story. I've been playing it again, but I've never actually finished it. But I have played a lot of the side quests. I mean, I've played it again. I thought I'm gonna finish the story in Skyrim, but then I played it for about 26 hours recently, and I still haven't bothered with the story. I did the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild, the Companions, and I'm gonna start the war, I think. I don't know what side to pick though in the war, but at least in Skyrim, the world and the story are kind of linked. They're interlinked. You know, your interactions in the world have consequences. If you're doing a Thieves Guild mission and you steal something, you know, the characters will react to that. So the world feels more alive, and you can influence that world. In SWTOR, it's just a linear story-driven game. It's the same with Mass Effect as well, and Dragon Age as well. But I just don't like this. You know, why give me dialogue choices when the dialogue choices don't really matter as much? And we know we're going to get to the same point anyway. So I just feel the story's been inconsistent over the last 10 years. The game itself, I mean, it should keep you with its engaging gameplay, but it can't because it just copies WoW, basically. So I'm interested to see what the combat styles will do for SWTOR. Hopefully it's good, although I haven't played the PTS because I don't have time. I'm not downloading it again. Just to play the PTS. That's another Process Lasso executable I'm going to have to disable SMT on. So I'm not doing that again because it's a bit of a nightmare to run SWTOR there. So, you know, hopefully the combat styles work out. If they've taken the time, the extra few months to polish it and get everything working, then it's worth it. I think it's worth the wait. You would rather a game is delayed and launches in a working state. We've seen that too much over the years, I think. And even over SWTOR's lifespan, we've seen expansions launch. I mean, remember Shadow of Revan? Remember Yavin with its lag? The input and ability delay lag that we had on Yavin 4. That was kind of ridiculous that it launched in that state. So hopefully it's a good thing that they have delayed it as well, and hopefully we can get a decent game. But yeah, we'll do some stuff for the 10th anniversary, I guess. I was going to do some live streams for the expansion launch, so I guess we'll go through them, and we'll just do live streams with the game. We'll just do some pugs, maybe some flashpoints, I guess. There's no point in grinding. I see they're doing a double XP event. That's going to be handy. There's no point in grinding out gear anymore because we're ready for the new expansion. But anyway, that is all for this video, so thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.